I pull a Percy Jackson, okay? You realize your mistakes. You're like, hey, what if we just do it close to the source material? Genius.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, Nerdy Misfits Nation?
Hello, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Nerdy Misfits.
Yeah, so today we've got an interesting episode. We were originally going to actually do the breakdown
Loki
slash
Captain
review
or the Marvels
of the Marvels and
stuff.
Loki, which we will be doing.
Yes.
But just
not
the past
today.
week and a bit, honestly, there's been a lot of rumors slash confirmation slash news and some other topics we'd like to discuss that have blown up a bit this week. And we thought that we'd probably best be talking about those first. And no offense to the Marvels, but it hasn't been doing the best.
No, it is not.
And I guess Loki did well. People enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that at another date.
Exactly. So we can just let's start off by what? Movies? Get all that stuff out of the way.
Let's start off with some of the actually let's start off with the good news. Should we
Okay.
start off with good news?
Yeah, I mean we can categorize it.
Okay, I want to start off with, well, in my opinion, on this list, there's maybe three things of good news.
Okay.
So I'll say the good news.
We'll start with the biggest good news.
The biggest good
Second
news
last point.
is that Star Wars is actually doing something right. Lucasfilms and Disney, they doing something right.
Because they scared probably. But yeah.
I mean, no, well, that you make a valid point.
Yeah.
That is definitely the case. I think how well Ahsoka was received
Yeah.
probably cemented this, but that's that Dave Filoni is been promoted to the COO, chief
A creative
I don't even
chief
know, man.
of creativity basically.
Basically, he's running the show in terms of what the overall plans for Star Wars is.
Chief Creative Officer, the CCO.
CCO, okay. So he's handling essentially making sure all the shows, potential movies, are going in the right direction. I think there was a quote, I don't have it, but he said something along the lines of, "My role is not to tell people what to do, but to make sure people can tell their stories, but keep it within, pretty much keeping it within George Lucas's world, without breaking true boundaries that aren't canon or shouldn't be canon or just would not happen within the universe, I would say."
I mean, it's just confusing because we've talked
He's
about
basically a security guy. I think he said he's like, I'm like a Jedi Council member now.
he is the Jedi Council.
But
He's Yoda. He is the head of the Jedi
he
Council.
is the Padawan to
George Lucas, 100%.
the man himself.
Yeah. But he is no longer the apprentice, now he's the master.
He is the master.
Yes.
And I know we did say there were some issues with Ahsoka. Ahsoka wasn't perfect,
No.
but it was one of the best Star Wars content they've put out.
Definitely, especially since Disney's bought Star Wars.
So it does make me excited in terms of I'm actually going to potentially look forward to a Star Wars movie.
I mean, I like as much as I love Dave Filoni, I just don't want to get my hopes up. I'm doing my best. It's the whole Flash perception all over again.
Hopefully the role is actually true. He will have creative control and be able to impact the stories that they're
The
trying
reason
to tell.
why I want to not be too excited about this is take Jeff Johns, for example, okay? From a comic books perspective, phenomenal stories. Some of the best
there's
stories.
still a
from
lot
New
of higher
52.
up fluff that you have to deal with.
Yeah, but when he stopped writing comics and then went into movies and TV shows and everything like that,
Things didn't end up well.
things didn't end up well. His name was on it, but to be fair, I mean, there's more.
It's like, but that's
politics
the thing. I
and-
think there's a lot of
Yeah.
higher ups that don't give you the complete say.
Exactly.
I feel like Disney realizes they've already messed up, and fans aren't happy. So,
But fans love Filoni, so we'll see.
and yeah, I feel like he's been around for most of the Disney shows, the Disney Star Wars
Yeah.
shows. He's been behind the scenes helping.
The only one I think he
directing.
wasn't fully attached to was Book of Boba Fett.
Which was pretty weak.
But I think for the other stuff, maybe not Obi-Wan, I can't remember. One of those he wasn't connected to directly.
It's just
But-
that him being heavily involved, you could already see the improvements.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is just a big W. Especially if the rest of the higher-ups at Lucasfilms and Disney are hands-off. They just realize, let him drive the car. We'll take credit, but let him drive.
Exactly.
That's all they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Sony when they were like, yeah, we'll do this deal with you, Marvel, for Spider-Man. And they just basically let them have
3
Spider-Man.
phenomenal movies.
They just let them have Spider-Man character,
Exactly.
and Disney's Marvel drove the car.
Yep.
And Sony's like, yep.
That
we
was
did a good
us.
job.
That was all us. Whatevs.
So that's definitely probably the best news.
Yep.
Other cool, fun news is that Scott Pilgrim. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't know how much of it's out.
All of it.
All of it is out
all
on
of
Netflix.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I heard and read that there are some changes from the main story.
Yeah,
that
there's
the author
slight-
has already
Yeah.
come on and said, like, yeah, there is some changes, but
Yeah.
they were kind of okayed by them.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes it okay in my opinion, to an extent.
It's, people give J.K. Rowling, very controversial figure, but
Yep.
people do give her a lot of hate for just deciding things all of a sudden out of the
Yeah.
blue. And like part of you can't argue with it because you're like, that's their universe. They are God.
Yeah.
In the universe, they are God.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it depends on what it ends up doing, right? I have to see it. I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest Scott Pilgrim
Mhm.
fan in terms of I've never read the real the comic.
Yeah, the comic manga,
So, exactly. The manga.
the kamanga.
I've
Kamanga.
seen the OG movie.
Yeah,
But
beautiful cast, by the way. I'm so happy that all the cast members
think
came back for the
the
animated
nostalgia
one too.
drive plus
Yeah.
just it's fun to see that the cast liked the content.
Well, they all have a giant group chat that is still active today. Like before the animated show came back.
Some of those
Like,
people
there's-
are pretty famous.
Well, the fact that because you look at that thing from the cast from like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and you have let's go with their big actor roles and stuff. Now you have Captain Marvel in there, Captain America's in there. You have Hera from Ahsoka who is in there.
Yep.
You have Brandon Routh, who was the Atom in the Arrow universe and was also
got a lot of
Superman in Superman
superheroes.
Returns. Michael Cera's super big. Anna
Massive.
Kendrick got
Anna
big after
Kendrick,
that too.
Massive. Yeah.
Like those are just some of the actors and actresses that are in there.
And they're all like, yeah, let's do this show. I'm sure they paid decently, but there's no way. I'm sure some of those people took pay cuts to do that project.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think when you have that core group and everyone is so friendly, like if you watch interviews, like I was watching an interview the other day of Chris Evans being like, "Oh yeah, no, that was like when I was in my early 20s. Like we were just starting out, we had no idea what we were getting into, and like everyone on the cast was phenomenal. We all still talk. Like the director is super good friends with all of the core
Did
cast
Chris
members."
Evans do the Fantastic Four before that, or around the same time?
That's a good question. I think around the same time.
I want to say I think it is. It was around the same
Yeah.
time. Because he.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, so Scott Pilgrim the movie was 2010, so that would have been 13 years ago. Which is definitely after the Fantastic Four 2005 film. So after.
Fantastic Four, baby Chris Evans,
Baby Chris Evans.
the Human Torch. Bring him back as the Human Torch.
That'd be amazing.
Just ignore the fact you look strangely familiar to someone else we've seen.
No idea who.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited to watch it. It's been a pretty busy week, so I haven't gotten to it yet.
I've watched a little bit of the first episode because I was curious about the animation style, and the animation style is obviously done in the form of the comic manga. The reason why we call it a comic manga, by the way, is because it's obviously an American comic, but the artist and the writer of it was
Heavily inspired by manga.
Yeah, heavily. It's
Manga styles.
call it the reverse My Hero Academia, if you will.
Yeah, that's actually a very well put.
Like, yeah, it's the reverse My Hero.
Yeah, he's heavily inspired by manga, and the writer for My Hero is heavily inspired by superheroes.
Exactly.
Like comics, like
Exactly.
Western
Western
comics.
yeah.
So, and the last happy-ish news is that I thought this was kind of cool that One Piece. So Matt and I aren't big American football fans, but One Piece has I think it's next Sunday or the Sunday coming up, where they're with the LA Rams have a promo going on that they have for the first whatever 1,000 people that come to the stadium are getting like One Piece bags. And they'll have like different One Piece characters and graphics popping up during the game, which is just cool to see how mainstream, just especially One Piece is such a long story. So like when people probably see it and go, oh, what's that? I mean, we've talked about One Piece maybe once or twice on the podcast.
A couple times, whatever.
So it's just fun to see it get more recognition because it is very easy for something like Demon Slayer that's much shorter to just bring people in.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's it's fun to see One Piece getting some
the
love.
One Piece, the one and only.
Getting some love.
Exactly.
I did see some jokes that were like, they got to do the Buccaneers next. Because they got the pirate flag as the actual logo.
Heck yeah.
So that would, be more fitting for the pirate.
Exactly, for the stuff,
But other than that's pretty fun. Little fun thing happening. So if you're in the LA area and you want to indulge in one of the damn football games,
heck yes.
Then get there early to get your One Piece merch. And with that said, shall we go on to some news?
Yeah, I can spit through a lot of the random film stuff quick.
Yeah. Rip through.
One of the big things that a new Karate Kid movie's on the way. Ralph Macchio is returning to. I mean, he was in Cobra Kai has 4 or 5 seasons.
Yep, something like
I think. The continuation of the original Karate Kid movies. And then so Ralph Macchio is coming back. And on top of that, Jackie Chan is coming as well. And he was obviously in the remake from 2010.
With Jaden
Smith. So I'm curious if that's going to connect or not, or what's going to go on with
you
that.
mean if he's the same, is it Master Miyagi is the...
Yeah, I don't know.
If he ends up being the same character and...
Yeah, I really am curious how that's going to go or not. But, so that one's kind of weird.
I thought Jackie Chan was done with making movies.
I thought he was retiring too, but
I thought he's done some voice work for stuff, but I thought that's kind of where he was floating around.
Well, I think he's also going to be doing Rush Hour 4, which I'm here for.
That's a big project.
That's a big project, but will he do his own stunts? Probably, even though he's getting older.
What a true legend.
What a true legend indeed. So that's big for that. We can move on to a bunch of comic movie stuff, which is Steven Yeun. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. He played Glenn in The Walking Dead. Fun fact.
Which was a fan favorite character. Also a comic book show. There was drastic changes, obviously, from the comic to the show. I mean, I've read the first, 140 issues of Walking Dead back in the day. It was massive.
It was big.
It was huge.
It was also very uncommon.
Huge show, huge comic that wasn't Marvel or DC.
Was not Marvel or DC. And a good, interesting thing about it, too, is a lot of people don't know that Walking Dead comic was black and white to start because they wanted their first 52 issues to come out 1 week after another, for a full year. So to save time, they didn't color it. And then Robert Kirkman, the creator of Walking Dead.
Eastern comic book,
crazy,
if you will.
Robert Kirkman also went on to say that one of the reasons why he didn't want to color it is because he wanted the readers to have interpretation of how gory it actually was, or how bloody.
Yeah, if you've read it, or of course if you've watched it, it's
it's aggressive in some parts.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah,
you gotta like gore.
Exactly. So that actor is officially been casted as a Marvel character in an upcoming movie called The Century. That's the character name, not the movie. He is basically Superman for Marvel. It's super soldier serum to the extreme, can fly, has a cape, the whole shebang, has an S on his front.
Who doesn't like Superman?
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know if I have a list of his abilities or something like that, but he has I don't really know. See,
Are you excited for it?
I have no attachment to this character in the slightest.
Feel like
I
that's
don't know.
I feel like Marvel's trying its best to do some risky stuff with characters, lesser known or more niche characters. But we still have so many stories we told with mainstream characters. I feel like part of it's also they want smaller actors. Not that he's necessarily a small actor.
No, but they want something. Yeah, they want something.
Keep getting
different.
the super A-list actors because that costs money.
But to be fair, the rumor is that they're trying to bring back those A-list actors because Marvel's now losing money. because many people aren't going to the movies. But I don't think it has to do with Marvel. I just think it has to do with superhero burnout. The superhero
I think
movies
there's
are
burnout, but
done.
I don't think they've had. I don't think the last little run has been great of movies.
No,
either.
I don't think so either. I think we'll get in more into this episode. Maybe this is a controversial opinion. I don't know. The Marvels was better than Ant-Man 3
Yeah, I
and
enjoyed
Guardians.
it more. And it hasn't been getting a lot, but I would say it's probably getting more hate and hasn't done nearly as well in the box office.
No, most definitely not. But we'll get into that.
But I
more.
agree. I don't think it was the best movie
I
ever,
think it was very mid-tier.
but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I think we both were definitely like,
Yeah.
wow.
Turned
All
out
right.
better than we thought. You know, had some
We'll
ups
get
and
more
downs,
we'll
but
get
yeah,
more in depth about some of the things we can nitpick about it. but
exactly. Moving on, trailer came out this past week for an upcoming Sony movie.
looks so bad.
Yeah.
Did you think it looked bad?
It's not that I think it looks bad. I just think it's stupid.
My friend thought it looked interesting, but that's because she was saying that she knows nothing about the character.
That's it. That's
and
just it.
Nothing. And from the trailer, it looked interesting. And
Sure, the
as
big
someone who knows Madam, I was like,
Madam
what?
Web's not a 40-year-old lady. She is an old ass lady who sits in a chair and
That's the-
understands the web of the universe.
That's
Okay,
the first thing I said. I was like, I'm like, she way too young.
that's what I mean. I don't understand. Is this an origin story for Madam Web? Probably, but it just doesn't. Like this is
And
literally
where
just,
were all the spider peoples? Like,
there's 3 spider people in the movie, but it's basically Spider-Woman 1, Spider-Woman 2, and Spider-Girl 3, which I think is her number in the comics. 3 random characters. I can't say random because they are like bigger characters.
they're bigger, but I just mean like in terms of seeing them do spidery things.
Yeah, we saw their costumes for a second there.
Yeah, like it was so brief. I was like, I'm supposed to believe this is a Spider-Man based, like a Spidey verse show.
This is their 4th film in their Spider-Man universe, which is aka Venom 1, Venom 2, and Morbius.
Like when you watch it, and then the Madam Web pops up, do you think people were like, "Is that related to Spider?" Because there was nothing that said anything to do.
No,
with...
it's just spider people kind of thing like that.
Yeah, I'm not excited for it. I'm gonna be honest. Not surprising that Sony's Spider-Verse stuff just looks like trash.
Well, the thing that bothers me is that it's just the same thing with Morbius. Morbius had potential, but the big question is, why do we care? Why do we care
in
about...
order to care about Madam Web, I'm not saying she. It's an interesting idea to see if Madam Web could hold her own in her own movie. That's interesting. But how can you do Madam Web without at least a Peter Parker or a Miles? You need one of them.
You want to get... you probably don't know this yet. Okay, so all the trailer, we see all the different Spider-Man, we see the villain of the thing, Ezekiel Sims, whatever. And then there's additional like people that have been cast in undisclosed roles, la-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Except there's a huge speculation, and it's been indirectly, sources confirm. So Adam Scott is in it, okay? Playing Ben Parker. As in, this takes place before Peter.
Before Peter
Yeah.
becomes Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean...
Like, it's Uncle Ben, I'm pretty sure is what they're, like...
Yeah.
Why?
Interesting choice.
I don't understand.
So she'll be old when she meets Peter.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, again... The only explanation of this is if this is their way to try and tie in, like, the animated Sony movies to this.
Because have Madam Web kind of be like, there's this.
The ultimate thing, yeah. At the, like,
the
she helps.
epicenter of all the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
So we have the 2 animated Spider-Verse
Even though
movies.
that's Spider-Man 2099,
Shh.
based on the second. Okay.
It's fine.
You kind of became that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that, like, yeah, I'll just kidding. Like, Spider-Man 29 is not actually in control, and Madam Web's just
Yeah,
pissed,
if I'm any of the
so-
people from the animated movie, I'm just like, why do we need you? We have all this.
Exactly.
We figured it out, yo.
Exactly. So I don't know what they're... I got nothing, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
This
I didn't
is-
even know that it was coming out.
I knew it was...
And I went to see the new Hunger Games.
Oh, how was it?
And it was... and it was...
Okay.
that
Sorry,
also
yeah,
was...
I'm hoping to see it.
I would wait for it to come out on a streaming service. That's my cup of tea.
Fair.
But yeah, the trailer popped up for Madam Web, and I was like, ugh.
Can I just read? So I just go to the Madam Web Wikipedia page. Okay, this is the first sentence. She was born in Salem. She is paralyzed, blind, telepathic, clairvoyant, and a mutant. Okay.
Yeah, that's what she looked like in the trailer. Didn't you see?
Oh yeah, I loved how she was able to walk perfectly fine and talk to all of her friends and see perfect, and did not look telepathic at all.
Well, there was the slight creative differences.
Yeah, slight creative differences, like her being 30.
Where's her cool web chair?
I want the web
With
chair.
the weird goggly eye.
You know that's gonna be a
glasses
post-credit scene, right?
that she sits in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lame. Anyways, let's go to something. I don't even know. Nicholas Hoult. Okay, he
As
played.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's got cast as Lex Luthor in the new Superman film. Superman Born Again or whatever the heck it's.
When it
no,
comes to
that's
bald
Daredevil.
people, it's so like at first I was like, and then
I don't
like
think he's
looked
gonna
at
be
more.
bald.
Then I looked at more pictures of him and I was like, actually, he could pull off a bald look though.
I don't think he's gonna be bald.
No, he could pull off a bald look.
The reason why I don't think he's gonna be bald is because I think the Superman story they're telling is like younger Superman, like Superman just starting out. And I know there's been versions of Lex to have like a little bit of hair left, not fully bald. You know, he starts losing it
I'm going
little by little.
He
But
goes bald.
we'll see. Nicholas Hoult, for those who don't know, if you guys have seen the X-Men First Class or X-Men Days of Future Past, he played Young Beast.
The Beast.
If you watch the rom-com zombie movie Warm Bodies, he was also in that as well. He played Tolkien in the movie called Tolkien. But yeah,
He was in something else too. I can't remember. Something else I've seen. Can't remember if it was a TV show. May have been a TV show.
he's been in a bunch of stuff. Oh, he was in Rainfield, which is that new Nick Cage movie. He's been in The Menu, Jack the Giant Slayer,
Oh yeah, he was in Mad Max.
Mad Max. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. All the the older.
definitely a
X-Men
solid
prequels
actor.
Movies. Yeah, he's a solid actor. I mean, the cast for that Superman movie has like Nathan Fillion in it as Hal Jordan, which is
Hey,
interesting.
Hal Jordan.
But it's
you know
like-
what that means? There's a Green Lantern. You know what that means?
For now.
Ryan Reynolds doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Someone else will take it on.
Oh, someone just got cast as Jimmy Olsen. Skylar Gisondo. Okay, interesting. He's not a bad actor. He's been in a couple things. It'll be interesting. I don't know.
You know, I started realizing that we're pretty old because now with this new wave, the first person that comes to mind is the Dune actor. Can't remember his name. The guy that's Wonka.
Chalamet.
Like
Timothy
he's
Chalamet.
he's like of this new era of
young
people being casted.
Yeah.
And another one that reminds me is
Zendaya is in that same list.
Zendaya, but from Ghostbusters, they have the one kid from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
And I'm just like,
Wolfhard or
oh, we're
whatever.
starting to like push out all the people I know as
yeah,
those people
the
that would
next
be casted as
generation,
that.
man.
Scary.
The next generation.
But on top of casting, this one is not official, but is rumored. We've got some big rumors on the Fantastic Four front. The strongest one that people seem most confident in,
The daddy.
based on a lot of reports, is one of the most intelligent people in the Marvel Universe itself, Reed Richards. And he is
Not played by John Krasinski.
big as sad.
Big
Dropping
sad.
the ball there, Marvel. But
Literally, though.
at least, in my opinion, still a fantastic actor.
Ha!
You don't like him?
No, you said fantastic actor.
Oh.
So I was just...
Oh, I see what I did
Yeah.
there.
This guy.
But yeah, another fantastic actor in Pedro Pascal, who is just in everything.
He is the daddy, as the kids say.
Man is just getting cast
Last
for
of Us,
everything.
The Mandalorian. Those are his big two
blowing
things.
up.
He was in that Nicolas Cage movie.
He was in was he in not Narcos? Was it Narcos? No, something like that. He was in a show where they get people for drugs.
Yep. Narcos, yeah.
It was Narcos.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not
He
crazy.
was in Game of Thrones briefly.
Oh yeah, he in a big role too. People loved him in that. But yeah, maybe not exactly the look I was expecting for Reed Richards,
Yeah.
but just some of the ways I've seen him act, I could see him handle that the way Reed Richards kind of presents himself and talks. I could see him pull it off very well.
I think it depends on the version they're going with. is this just like Reed Richards, like they just went to space and they just became the Fantastic Four? Or
I think that they have to be solidified as a thing. It just sucks because they haven't. You would think that Marvel would have handled it better. This is the problem with this new phase.
yeah,
These post Endgame phases. The things that made Endgame so hype was all the little Easter eggs pushing or just being like, that exists, that's there.
Yeah,
We might
exactly.
get there. And why haven't we seen the Baxter building? Why haven't we?
well, so I mean, I thought they were gonna set that up when the Avengers Tower was getting sold.
Yeah.
Why did that not become the Baxter building?
I don't know.
Like they
man.
had
Like,
potential to do these things.
or like, hey, a famous scientist got hit by storm.
Exactly.
Like it just in the new, like on the TV randomly in one of the MCU shows.
Only thing that I will be okay with, and maybe I don't know if you'll be okay with this or not, but because Oscorp isn't really a thing in the MCU, if Peter Parker gets like at his new school gets an internship at the Baxter building, like under Reed Richards, I'll be a little bit okay with it. I won't be like, oh, that's amazing, because it should be Oscorp. But if they're
Well, I
not going
wouldn't-
down the Oscorp,
I wouldn't hate
road,
it because at least it would do something more for Peter's intelligence, which I've
Exactly.
talked about a ton
Yeah.
in the MCU. So it would be a good way of being like, Peter is smart.
Yeah.
Look at how smart he is.
Exactly. And that Reed Richards would take on the new father figure kind of thing like that. Like, I don't know.
I don't know if Peter needs a lot.
I don't think he needs, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
But more of a mentor in terms of intelligence.
Exactly.
Not that Tony Stark's not intelligent, but
He was very
I still
much
don't think he's a great mentor.
Yeah.
Maybe a superhero mentor, sure, but not
Exactly.
the scientific.
Yeah.
kind.
Scientific kind of mentor. Yeah, I don't know. I think Pedro Pascal would be a great cast, but I think it depends on if it's going to be a younger or older version of Reed Richards.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they end up choosing. I think they would go older, in my opinion, or maybe they just come from a different universe.
That's
and
what I
now
mean.
they're
Like,
in
I
ours.
think the Fantastic Four movie is supposed to happen between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, if that's even all still happening at this point,
That's fair.
which is big up in the air.
On top of that, though, Vanessa Kirby is reported to be a candidate for Sue Storm.
Yep.
Joseph Quinn for Johnny Storm,
Yeah.
and Ebon Moss Barrett, I don't know.
Okay.
For Ben Grimm.
All interesting cast members.
Yeah.
I know some of them from a couple different things. The names aren't too big for popping out for me,
So
but I recognize some of them.
this Ebon Moss is he is in that one. Is it a Disney show? The one the
Oh,
bear.
he was in Punisher.
The
He's
bear.
in The Bear. Okay, yeah. He was in the Punisher show as well.
He's the one family friend that he calls cousin.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, he's in the Punisher as well. But I mean, at the end of the day,
And he's
he's
gonna
going to
be
be a
who?
CGI thing.
Yeah. Not
Literally,
entirely.
literally a
thing.
CGI
You're
thing.
so good with these jokes today.
I'm just spot on.
Yeah.
Joseph
Quinn, you guys know from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
He plays Eddie.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good Johnny Storm.
I think
think he's
seen
got,
him
like-
in much.
I think he's
so-
got that quip kind of thing like that. That could work.
And then we've got
Vanessa Kirby, you said, right? Yeah. I don't know her.
known for The Crown for playing young Princess Margaret. Okay, yes, I've seen her in The Crown.
Okay. I'm not. I was having some crap,
And
but
Mission Impossible, The White Widow.
oh.
Oh, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, these ones are rumors; they're not confirmed. I do feel like if Marvel wants a big W without having to put much effort in, it's not hard to cast Sue and Reed. I feel like they have the perfect fan casting to just.
They should, in my opinions, I love Pedro Pascal, don't get me wrong, but John Krasinski, beautiful cast, looked so good.
He looked great.
And the fact that his wife, Emily Blunt, who's a phenomenal actress as well, is willing to play Sue Storm, you would have
That's the
such
thing.
good
You have-
on-screen chemistry.
But you have two actors that want to be in the MCU.
Yep.
You have two actors that fans want to be these characters.
Yeah.
How much of a slam dunk do you need to be like, well, that's an easy casting. That'll bring people to the box office.
But alas, here we are. No harm to Pedro Pascal. I think he'll do
No, I
phenomenal
think
if he gets casted. I think he'll do great.
I think he'll be fantastic. But but
Let's talk.
at
go
the
on.
end of the day, I just don't. I don't see why. Why is Marvel trying to make things harder on themselves? It's safe to say they haven't had a big W in a while.
Yeah.
So why not just take the easy slam dunk?
Maybe that's exactly why. They don't want to show that they're weak.
I forgot to tell my joke about Dave Filoni.
Oh, let's hear it.
I posted it in the Discord, by the way. We have a Discord. If you'd like to join us, the link for it will be in our link tree down below. And we answer questions on the podcast. You can ask them in the Discord. We also have a bunch of different community tabs that if you're only interested in Star Wars, well, you can talk in the Star Wars chat.
Exactly.
But my joke was that Dave Filoni getting this new position brings me a new hope.
You don't get it. You're not a Star Wars fan. Anyway.
But yeah.
Another big thing, too, before we move, because there's only one more point about the MCU here, really. Well, two of them. One is that rumors of Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman coming back to be main characters in the Secret Wars movie.
I've seen this rumor multiple times now from different
Seen it
sources.
everywhere, yeah.
I mean, I'm totally down for it.
Yeah.
I hope.
I don't know.
I hope Hugh Jackman has a really, really fun time filming Deadpool, and it's totally
100%. He's gonna love it. He's back with Ryan Reynolds, and he's gonna freaking love it.
Which they started back up filming again. I just hope that he has a ball in time, and he's like, yeah, I just want to see a character from our childhood make it in the MCU, just like how hype it was when we saw all the Spider-Man.
Yeah, Toby and Andrew and stuff like that. Yeah,
give Hugh Jackman is like the OG warrior for superhero movies.
Yeah. X-Men, the first X-Men came out 23 years ago.
And I love him. I love him.
2000. It's so funny because you can see how much he's put into that character. Like, if you compare what Wolverine looks like in the first X-Men movie, doesn't even have abs. Yeah, like, he's just a slightly slim man.
Now.
But another X-Men pun. You're flying with these, man.
Oh, accidental, but on purpose, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you look at him in Logan, it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
20 years later, this man.
Yeah, he puts in a lot of work.
Yeah.
I respect it.
I agree too. Moving on.
No, one more Marvel thing.
One more thing. Oh, yeah, which we'll get more into in the episode that we'll talk directly about it. But yeah.
Okay, we got two Marvel things.
Just kidding, two Marvel things.
Okay, the big one is...
Oh, yeah. I see the other one now.
Big story is, and you touched on it, Kang dropped.
Yep. Oh, there's three things on this list.
Oh, okay.
Kang dropped.
And so the rumor is Kang potentially is just done. Marvel's going to start rewriting. And I put here as the other question, because some of the articles discuss this, is they're going to have to obviously transition to a new big bad.
Yep.
Does that mean we get Doctor Doom as our big bad?
And we do Secret Wars 3?
We're doing Secret Wars?
Yeah, but there's three different versions.
We're doing Secret Wars 3!
It'd be good, but with when that movie's slated to come out, I don't think we have enough build-up for Doctor Doom.
They've pushed a lot of movies now.
I know they've pushed a lot back, but even still,
they pushed tons back.
Yeah.
I feel like you take out the Avengers and just build up things properly again.
Yeah.
Build up, have the Fantastic Four come up, build up Doctor Doom, not as the villain they thought. Have him be
sprinkled in.
Yeah, a character within the movie.
Just get the Fantastic Four to fight Mole Man.
Junk to them, but don't have him be the villain they fight.
Exactly.
And then just set it up. Set it up as Doctor Doom. Victor's building up his empire within, and he's untouchable because
they have the perfect setup too because of Scarlet Witch being more magic based and everything like that. Like, a lot of people don't know that, but Victor Von Doom in the comics, his mom was a witch. And there's a great story, which is one of my favorite stories.
Give him an Iron Man suit, I say.
Ah, yes. Infamous Iron Man. Love the costume. Epic story.
But honestly, I'm not upset if Kang gets dropped. I think a lot of people aren't excited for him to be the big bad, because this is the comparison I saw. Imagine if we saw Thanos get beat by Rocket Raccoon.
Exactly. No, 100%.
And then we were expected for him to be the big bad for all of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
He lost to Ant-Man. He lost to ants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's the big bad.
But that's a different timeline. That's
I
not the one
know,
they're
but-
going to fight, though.
But it's just
Yeah,
I
no,
get
it's the
people
principle
are
of
not
it, though.
excited for it as the
Yeah.
big bad. I know a lot of comic book fans are,
Yeah, no. Kang is an insane character.
right? And that's understandable.
Yeah.
But the issue is I think it was executed poorly.
The only thing that kind of makes me upset about this is that Iron Lad won't be coming into the MCU then. Because they've been hinted at the last few years of making the Young Avengers or the New Avengers and stuff like that. For those who don't know, Iron Lad is this kid from the future who has he's a teenager and he has an Iron Man suit. And the reason he goes by Iron Lad and wants to become a superhero
Because he's a
is
lad made out
because-
of iron.
No. Is because a future version of himself comes back to be like, hey, man, you need to do this decision. You need to do this. so
Why
you
are
can
all these
become
people coming
bad."
back? Don't they know they got messed up the timeline?
Yeah, but it's Kang. So
Not fair.
Iron Lad is a younger version of Kang.
Oh,
Where, because Kang from a future comes to his younger self and be like, bro, you got to do this so you can
You're gonna
become
have
more
to fight you.
powerful. And he's like, what if I don't actually become a good person instead? But the only thing is that Kang works is that Kang is an indirect descendant / ancestor of Reed Richards. So that's where it just gets confusing.
anyways, I'm not upset if Kang is dropped.
No.
I think Marvel needs more time to set up better stuff. I think
Yeah. Well, it's rumored that Deadpool 3 is the only Marvel movie coming out next year now.
I saw that. Yeah, they pushed everything
Yeah.
back, and honestly, I think what they need to do is they need to start introducing the X-Men properly,
Yep.
introduce the Fantastic Four properly,
Yep.
and use that time to hint at bigger villains. The thing is, X-Men have huge villains, and honestly, what I would love to see, what would get me massively hyped to see a Marvel movie is one, I would be super excited to see a Marvel done X-Men.
Yeah, 100%.
Because let's face it, the last few X-Men we've not.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse were not solid movies.
I think First Class was the last one that I was like, yeah, that was great.
Days of Future Past for me.
Days of Future Past was solid.
Beautiful way to connect everything together. Outside of Logan, of course.
Yeah, Logan was
Logan
great.
was-
But I feel like I don't even,
Yeah, Logan and the two Deadpool films, I don't really classify
especially
as
since in
X-Men
Logan they're
films.
just like all of them are dead.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Everyone is
okay,
dead
it
except
is you
for old
and-
ass
and
Charles and Laura.
but yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm not so excited to see Fantastic Four. I just don't. They're not my favorite. Great villains, lame team.
The two villains they have, great villains.
Great villains.
Great villains.
I just like Doctor Doom.
Yeah, and Harold the Galactus.
But on top of the Fantastic Four, we'll have a really brief discussion. Is rumors are that the Silver Surfer will be female. Mostly this is controversial, mostly because, like we said, Marvel's taking a lot of L's, and like Matt mentioned, I feel like a lot of people are getting a lot of superhero burnout.
Yeah,
And guess who's going to your movies if most people are having superhero burnout? Comic fans.
not many people.
Comic fans.
Yeah,
People that love those characters are probably the ones going to see that movie. And that just feels like, honestly, just give the Silver Surfer fans the Silver Surfer they want.
I really enjoyed
Or
Silver
you're just going to
Surfer.
get a lot of hate.
Silver Surfer from the movie Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer. Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of Silver Surfer, very well
yeah,
done.
he did a good job. I thought the CGI for that movie was pretty
CGI was pretty good.
except for the choice to have Galactus be
Yeah, it's the equivalent of the Parallax from the Green Lantern movie. It's just a cloud, just a cloud monster.
Evil Cloud.
The worst. I cannot remember. I want to say Doug Jones is the one that did the actual physical part of Silver Surfer, but he's known to do that. So that's the same dude that did Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies.
Yep.
And the dude who did Shape of Water. But that's just a movie trivia fact for you guys. Yeah, I think Marvel is lost.
They're just
Not from
trying,
like a-
They're just trying too hard now, and it's like
Yeah.
you know what? Just run. We have such a
Pull a Percy Jackson, okay? You realize your mistakes. You're like, hey, what if we just do it close
But
to the source
yeah,
material?
exactly. We have
Genius.
And the other thing is, we have so many diverse characters now in the
Exactly.
MCU. We don't need to push too hard. Just if you're bringing in Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer, all right, bring them in.
Do it.
Don't change anything. Just
Exactly.
there's fans of those characters. Just leave them. I mean, I'm not one of them, but you know,
No, but still, it's the principle of it, right? It's the switching
Yeah, it's
characters
like-
to
switching them just to have
Yeah.
them be
different.
different or think that you're making it more accessible to other people. I don't think people like characters like Miles, like Captain Marvel, because that's how the characters are. That's how they're written. Those are the original character. When you make a character, massive character change to a character that's loved by so many, you're automatically going to get hate, even if it's good. Even if it's a good casting, even if it's done well, you just automatically get some people hating just because that's not their X, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if it's not their Spider-Man, their whatever.
Think about the Death Note movie, for example.
Yeah, exactly. They basically swapped who the character personalities. So we'll see. I think pushing things back is good. Hopefully they take more time to think things out and figure out the direction they want to go. And so this one is just a quick note, which is, since we're talking about some villains, if he doesn't show up in a movie, can we just agree to just get rid of Loki?
I don't want to spoil anything from the show, but I don't think we're going to be getting too much Loki after this.
People love Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and I think he's done a great job. Fantastic actor, fun. Seems his interviews are always hilarious. But wow, man, I did not think that this character would just continue with such, in all honesty, like kind of no impact. I know we will be doing a review on Loki, the show, but just know, in terms of like Time Lords and stuff, like I just think that the whole concept is just kind of, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I think it's like I said. I know I said a few minutes ago, but Marvel just feels lost.
Yeah,
like we've talked about in previous episodes where they set up a bunch of stuff and it just seems they don't know what they're doing.
They're just throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks instead of having a calculated plan like they did before.
Because I don't want to get into this too much right now because we'll talk about more in the Marvels episode. But like the end scene of Shang-Chi with Captain Marvel being there to talk about the rings and everything like that, and then we come to the Marvels and we talk about the bangles. Why was there no connection to that at all?
Yeah, why didn't she mention or say anything about
that? Seems semi-important if they're trying to put everything together.
I know.
But again, I will rant about that after. Speaking of loss,
we got Aquaman 2. Are you going to see it?
No. I mean, we will, but I got to watch the first one.
Yeah, I just forgot that it was even coming out, I'll be honest. I saw another trailer for it, I think, and I was like, oh, yeah. That's a movie that's coming out. Is this in the current DCU?
Nope. This is the end.
So why not just drop it?
It could be because of how much there's a lot of... This is because it's Jason Momoa. People love Jason Momoa. They already have the issues of Batgirl and everything like that. They reshot a bunch of stuff without Amber Heard in it, so they rechanged a bunch of stuff. So like, there's so much. I don't even want to say it's controversy, but there's just a lot about Aquaman 2, and who cares?
I know if it's not part of the new current.
You want to see shirtless Jason Momoa? Go freaking Google it. Like,
go watch Game of Thrones for a bit.
Fucking go watch Stargate Atlantis. Yeah. Like, come on, people. Ridiculous. Anyways, before we wrap up the episode, this is the final bit of news here.
We're going to rip through these ones real quick. So, last Airbender trailer, what'd you think?
Pretty cool. Has potential.
I am skeptical.
I'm not getting my hopes up.
Yeah, hopes aren't up, but it looked not bad. Going on, we've got The Great Pretender is getting a second season. I don't know if you watched that anime. It was on Netflix. It was pretty solid. Know. And Tower of God's also getting a second season. This is a webtoon comic. The first season was solid. Anime / art style was but it was pretty accurate to the source material, but people didn't like that. Yep. So based on some of the images, it looks like it's been bumped up a bit and could be pretty good. And the last topic that we'll be talking about is this week / last week, we had Jujutsu Kaisen animators for Mappa Studios coming out on X / Twitter, talking about how they wanted more time to complete the episode, how it was not a finished product, and that they kept on asking to have it pushed. And it didn't. And the episode came out, and a lot of people liked the episode, but there were definitely a lot of sections that you can
Hiccups.
just tell were not done.
Yeah.
And considering how, one, Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the biggest IPs right now in terms of anime/manga.
Yep.
You want to put out the best content you can. Two, I feel like most of the time animators are super passionate, you know?
Yeah.
And especially when you've seen how well this series has been doing and how well it's been animated.
Mm-hmm.
I think animators take that personally. Like, you aren't letting me put out what I want to put out.
Exactly.
And
You're stopping the creative process, to which then now you're forcing them to do it, and it will take the enjoyment out. Thus, you'll get mediocre stuff.
we'll get a less good product. And we've talked about this. The one thing, yes, and I'm almost certain I predicted this on an early episode of the podcast where I said it hasn't happened yet, but MAPPA keeps buying up all these IPs and doing anime.
We briefly talked about this.
And I was like, there's gonna reach a point where they don't hit the standard that people are expecting from them because they're taking on too much. Yeah. And here we are. Unfortunately, it's a show that I've been enjoying, and the manga I enjoy a lot.
Everyone who's gotten into Jujutsu Kaisen.
In a massive scene as well.
Yeah.
Massive part of the story. Like, we're at the climax of an arc. And you just hate to see it, especially when animators have to come out on Twitter to be like,
that's the worst thing about it.
We already know working conditions for animators are bad. We already know that they work day and night for pennies. And it's just, honestly,
unfortunate.
From the fan standpoint, is if you got to push a week or two so that the product is what the animators want pushed out.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they work that hard to see what they want out. And if you're pushing out just rushed out stuff because they're not done, like, I feel like that's just a slap in the face.
The thing is that there's some animations, we talked about this off mic, but Zom 100.
Yeah.
They took a break.
Yeah, because it wasn't ready. If the product's not ready, then don't release it. This goes for everything. It does not just anime. I mean, video games. How many video games come out that aren't done?
Fucking Marvel's doing it right now. The movies aren't ready. Push it back.
Yeah, for sure. But it's all about that money.
Which is unfortunate.
But yeah, I called it. Obviously, MAPPA has put out some good stuff, but at the end of the day, when you keep buying all of these things, you're running out of time.
Shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah.
And hopefully, fingers crossed that there was a big enough uproar that maybe they listen. I'm pressing for doubt. But I just want to, our feelings go out to the animators that put in all the hard work for these shows that we enjoy.
We are appreciative of the stuff that you guys come out with.
Definitely. And, when we dislike a show because the animation quality isn't up to snuff, that is by no means an attack to the animators.
No.
We know that
there's various factors involved. 100%.
When it comes to scheduling and time,
exactly.
You're just putting out what you can, and what sometimes you're not given the time or the resources, or you're working night and day and you have a tiny staff. So this is just a big appreciation to all the animators out there. Keep up the great work. We love it. And, I just feel bad that the situation is the way it is.
It's just unfortunate that it had to come to the fact that the animators have to speak out.
Yeah. People are still, it's not like it's some niche show that people aren't going to watch.
No, exactly. JJK, like you said, was one of the best-selling mangas last year, and people were hyped for season 2.
Yeah, so...
And it's just unfortunate.
Ending it off on a sad note there, but, watch your favorite show.
Exactly.
Recognize that there are a lot of people that worked really hard on it.
Exactly. And until then,
next episode we will finally do the
Captain,
Loki
or the Marvels and Loki season 2. Sounds good. So we'll see you then, everyone.
We'll see you then, guys. Bye. And have a great week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you. And see you next week.